Hello everyone, welcome to the another new tutorial on WxPython from Ulsisoft.com. We're actually using WxPython version number 4, codename Phoenix, and using Python 3 as the standard Python release for GUI development using WxPython, and we're using Eclipse platform with PyDay plugin. So this tutorial we will talk about the next level going to WxPython, how to develop buttons and how to provide the click functionality of the button, how to give image to the button, and how to place inside a frame. So let's begin. So I'll open the Eclipse IDE. So I've just created a branch to like this, right click and PyDay package, and I've created a module which is the file WxGUI. So I have nothing in place, so I will just copy paste from the previous tutorial. So this is the standard way of starting the WxPython GUI development using WxPython library and Python 3. So we just a recap of the previous tutorial. We have a WxApp instance with the class name WxApp, and we provided the single inheritance of the WxApp. App stands for application, and then this is the standard function that should be used to invoke WxApp. Then we created an instance, inherited instance of WxFrame and Wx mainframe, and we created an instance of Wx mainframe inside on unit of WxApp, inheriting Wx.app, which is app stands for application. So we set a minimum size 800 pixels wide and 600 pixels high, width and height, and set title with a string, and we asked the instance to show, meaning display in the computer screen. And this is the main statement for the Python program to run. This is the instance of the WxApp. This is the instance of the WxApp, which is the app, and this is the name of the class that it is inheriting, Wx.app, and we're running the main loop. This statement is very, very important. Don't miss this statement, otherwise nothing will run in general. So what we can do in this tutorial is to create a button. So there is nothing to import, just import Wx, and there is nothing to import with respect to Python itself. So let's create a button. So let's use the self dot. As you people might be aware, the self is the keyword for Python, which provides the namespace for the entire class. So if you don't want the variable, any variable, to be visible outside the init function what we are creating now, so don't put self. So self in the sense we can access that variable in any method, which is typically function with the keyword called def in Python, inside the class of Wx mainframe. So using the word called self dot, just create any button. This is the variable name, self dot button. So button is the variable name, self dot is to control the namespace inside the whole class. So equals the assignment. So anything with WxPython starts with Wx dot button. So this provides a class, and I have created a directory called images, which will have play button. So I have an image that is created in the directory called images. So you can use any favorite image editor to do the image operations, like something like GIMP, or any even Adobe products is available, like Photoshop or ACDC kind of thing, depending upon your favorite image processing library. So GIMP will do. So what is the requirement is here is you take the image that you want to display with the button and size it to 32 cross 32, width 32, height 32, so that it easily fit inside the button image class. So we'll coming to that. So self dot button equals Wx dot button. So Wx is the library name of WxPython, and button is the class for creating the button. So now we'll access the button using the name start set all the methods inside the WX class starts with a capital letter. This is specifically true for WX Python, which is based on WX widgets, which is C++. So set label, this is the name of the button. So I will just give click me as the click me as the label. This is the name of the button, meaning the text here called click me will actually appear as the name of the button, but it is not a name. If you put a set name, it is the name of the instance which you can use for further purposes, but we don't need set label in the sense this is the text that actually appears. So set label. So now let's set the size. So as you can see, this you remove the other type of variables inside the method just to not to clutter the application. The code that is being written, so that you can easily walk through the code without many fuss. This X and Y is the position of the button inside the instance of the mainframe, which is the actually inherited instance of wx.frame. So width meaningful, let's say 100, and let's say height equals 50. Make sure your images are 32 cross 32, meaning 32 width and 32 height. You can use any favorite image editor you want. So self dot button. So you have given the size, we have given the label, so you have to give the bitmap. So what we have to do is we have to first get the local path, the directory where we are actually running. Then we have a relative path wherever the images are present, and then invoke the image inside the bitmap. So what we have to do is import a Python specific library called OS. OS stands for operating system. So we use the OS, two letters OS dot get CWD. So CWD stands for current working directory. So this get CWD OS dot will tell where is the current file, and you have to know what is the relative path of the image file what you have been created. So I created an image file exactly where the file is. So what I can do is I will create another variable which will hold the image path. Button image path equals self dot local path plus, so that I'm appending the string. So you have to put slash. This is Windows, so I'm using forward slash. If you are in Linux or Mac, you put backward slash, two double slashes like this, because / means ignore in the string format for computer science in any language. So you have to put double slash for Mac and Linux. Because I'm using Windows, so I can go for forward slash. I can always do double slashes also. So put double slash, because one slash means ignore whatever the character just after the backslash. So this is a standard string semantics. So if you want double slash to exist in the code, then you have to put double slash. Because I'm using Windows, I'll go for forward slash. So images slash play 32 cross 32.png. You can use either JPEG or PNG as per your requirements. Then I will do self dot I will create a bitmap. This is the standard way of doing in WxPython. Use WX bitmap, and for probably we can give a path here itself. So I'll give that bitmap path. So this is the actual bitmap. Bitmap stands for bits mapping of the file. Any image file will have X and Y data. So it's like mapped, which is should be horizontal, which is the vertical. So the dot extension of the file, which actually tells what kind of format that has been utilized for the image data, and that will be picked up by the bitmap. So bitmap is the standard way of loading the image file path. So I've created a variable called bitmap, button bitmap. First I created a local path which I'll get the current working directory. Then I create the button image related to the local path. I have a directory called images. I have a PNG file, image file, which is 32 cross 32, 32 width, 32 height. So I created a bitmap uh, variable which is the kind data type, which is wx.bitmap. I have given the constructor option of the image path. Now this is the local path wherever this file is currently running, and you should know the relative path from where the image file has to be picked up. So bitmap I have created. So what I can do is I will do set.button dot set bitmap bitmap current. So I will pass on that button bitmap instance. So how do you bind the function? So one more thing here, the button is created, wx button instance is created inside the class which is the inherited which is inheriting the class called wx frame, but there is no way of telling where the bitmap actually resides. So what we should do is, in actual WxPython, there's something called sizer. This is the variable name I'm creating. So you get wx.box sizer. Sizer is for placing the widgets, for example here button, inside this, put it in the sizer and take the sizer and give it to WX mainframe. So how it's done I'm just showing. So I created WX box sizer instance, which is the WX sizer, and what I can do is you take it and you come back down here, sizer dot add. So you can create all the, delete all the other parameters that is passing to this method. You just start self dot button. So now what is the sizer? I created a sizer. I will move the sizer down just to make more readable. So first I created a button instance. I gave it a label name, not name, label, meaning the text required. I created the size 100 by 50. I wanted to display exactly 00 where the box sizer is. Then I got the local path. So I created a relative path about whatever the PNG or JPEG image I want. For instance, I'm taking a PNG image here. Then I created a bitmap instance. I just provided the constructor with the image path. Then I set the bitmap to the current bitmap of the button, meaning the button will have this image and will have this text called click me. But there is no way that button will actually appear inside the frame. So how to make the button appear inside the frame is to take a box sizer. So you should say whether it is, we want to have a horizontal way of alignment or vertical say of alignment. Because of the, for this example I have just so anything you have to go for wx dot, I'll go for horizontal. You can go for vertical because there is only one instance of the button. So you have to tell how the orientation of for the box sizer. This is for the placement of widgets. You place on all the widgets inside the box sizer, and what to do with the sizer? You get self. That self means I'm calling this main class self dot set sizer. Set sizer. You can delete the extra parameters what is there in there. So set sizer self dot sizer, self dot sizer. So this statement is telling take this sizer with the instance of box sizer which is horizontally aligned and give it to the set sizer method of the WX main frame, which is inheriting WX dot frame, meaning the button is inside the sizer. The sizer will be inside the WX mainframe class instance, which is now the WX frame in a way. So this sizer will appear inside WX frame in class, and the placement is 00. And the placement, you can change the placement if you want to put slightly away from 00. You can give what is the X and the y positions. Now I'm going for default x equals 0, y equals 0. So, and the set sizer will say which is the sizer. Sizer will have the button, and the button has label called click me. It's placed as 0, 0. It has width and height of 150. This is the named arguments. If you remove x, y, width, height, it will be positional arguments, meaning first one goes to first one, second one goes to second one. So if you don't have the named arguments, meaning the first one is x, second is y, third is width, and fourth is height. This is just to improve the readability of the options. Provide for this method called set size for the instance called button, which is a class instance of wx.button. So button is set for, so what to do when you click the button. So there's a functional called self.bind bind, and the first option is called the event. So wx dot, what is the instance what we are targeting now is the button. So go for wx, so go for event. So wx actually relies on event. There's all built-in event options available. So wx dot evt underscore button. So wx dot evt stands for event, and I want a event type button. So what is the handler? Handler in the sense you have to create a function where you can actually receive the button event when button is clicked. So what you can say, button clicked event function self. You have to receive the event. So what I will do is I've just print out a statement of button is clicked. So handler is the function that actually receives the button click event. So click in the sense the right side left side button of the mouse, and the source is who is creating the event. The event is created by this self.button. We have the instance of wx button. So this is the bind function. This is very new to WxPython, especially for WxPython 3 plus and 4 series, because it is based on WxWidgets 3 series, or very late versions, maintenance release of 2.9 point something for WxWidgets. So previously it was something called on connection on or connect something, but this is more generic. This is more flexible because you can configure these two things the way you want. Especially the you can even pass on from event to event, toss events around if you're doing some kind of complex GUI and you want to have an absolute control of how do you handle the events. So this is the self.bind. This is the bind function that is actually coming from the WX library itself. So the first one is the event. What kind of event? We have a EWT event which is of type button, and the function which actually receives the event known as the handler, and it has the keyword called, you can give anything here just to be very readable. I have given EVT for event, and I have given the button clicked so that it is much more readable of what kind of function that is actually receiving the event. So this is the function that actually receives the event. What type of event is the button event, which usually means the clicking left side button of the mouse. And who is producing the event? Self.button. What is that event? It is wx.button class instance. I'm just printing button is clicked just to make sure you catch the events. So we have created a label, we have produced a position and size, then we have created and given the bitmap, the image, and we put it in that button in the sizer, and we have given the sizer to the class instance, and we have bound the event button event to this function, and we are receiving the event from the self.button. So now the button should appear inside the WX mainframe, and we already have the instance of the WX mainframe inside the onInit function of the WX class, which is inheriting the WX.app, which is the application, and we have a main statement of the WxPython file which makes the interpreter to run this statement first, and we have instance of WX app which is running the main loop. So let's see whether everything is fine. Let's click the run button. So we have some issue here. So session parent, so we haven't given a parent for the button. So as you can see, there is no parent for the button. So any widget in WX, which is WxPython, which is the Python bindings for WX widgets, should have a parent, and it is tracked using events. So we haven't given any parent, so we give the self. So self in the sense WX frame, which has been inherited by WX mainframe, is actually the parent of the button. The parent in the sense where the widget has to appear when it gets rendered. So everything seems to be alright. Let's run it. So as you can see, the button has appeared. So the parent has to be provided for any widget, which tells where the widget has to be rendered. So the another part is there, which is known as the WX panel. The hierarchy is first is WX app, WX.app, then you create an instance of WX.frame, and inside WX.frame we can have any number of WX.panel. So I will come into the subsequent tutorial series of how to use WX panel, because WX panel provides a way of organizing the widgets inside a frame. So you can put all the widgets inside the panel, you can have multiple panels and put all the panels inside the WX frame, render the WX frame inside WX.app. So you can develop a complex GUI in one window itself. So as you can see, this was according to the previous tutorial, WxPython GUI. This is the title of the WX frame, and here this is the, this tutorial video is all about this button, which has been created at the position of 0 0, width the height, width is the horizontal, height is the vertical, and we have created a image button. So we have created the image play 32 cross 32 size, width, height both are equal to 32, so that it easily fits inside the button, and the label of the button is click me, and we are catching the event press button in button clicked event function. So let's see, actually it prints. So I'm printing button is clicked, so it should come inside the console if I click the button, if everything is right. So as you can see, button is clicked, so it works actually. So this is the so very standard way of developing a button with a image, and then catching the click event, which is the typically the left side button of the mouse. And how do you catch the event? And this event has to be there because that event comes to this function through this EVT variable of this function, and we'll just click the button is clicked, so we catch the event of the button. So this is the, so we covered all the standard and important aspects of the button. We have the image, we have the label, and we cast the event. So that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching this tutorial for so long, and please stay tuned for the subsequent tutorials on WxPython. There's a lot of widgets that needs to be addressed in the WxPython tutorial series. So please stay tuned for the additional tutorial series coming in the future. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching this tutorial. Thanks. Bye.